James, let me ask you about this. And we all know about, I mean, obviously a great player, Hall of Famer. That goes without saying. I think a lot of people might not remember that you coached with the Chargers for, at least 5 years. You were there for a minute, right? 5 years, right?
I was there for 6 years when we were good. How about
yeah,
that?
True. That's true. And
I was there with Marty Schottenheimer.
Yep.
And so we were playoffs twice. We got booted out the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was there a year with Norv Turner. And then I went north for a year with the Oakland Raiders, and that was the year that Lane Kiffin got fired during the middle of the season.
Oh, the overhead projector.
Wow.
Oh, good God. Yeesh, yikes. Okay. That was not a good chapter in Raiders history. But let me ask you about San Diego, because you were there for half a decade, a little bit more than that. So you know the inner workings of the city, the politics, the stadium. Listen, I'm going to be so, and I would say I'm going to be, because I think it's going to happen. I'm going to be so saddened when the Chargers leave. I really think they're leaving. What does James Lofton think?
You know what? It's funny because I do a little Chargers report here in town for one of the local TV stations. Mm-hmm. And last year, when they said that they were going to go to Los Angeles, they signed the paper, I said, you need to go right away because you don't want the Rams to get a foothold on Los Angeles and be the #1 team there. Mm-hmm. And I still don't believe that they want to be the second tenant in Los Angeles. I think that they are going to actually stick it out, even if they don't win the vote, which doesn't look like they're going to, mm-hmm. and that they'll come up with some way to stay in San Diego because I still think the league is a little bit better with one team in Los Angeles, one team in San Diego, one team in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
catching yourself there.
Yeah. So you need a separation of entities because New York is so unique with the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah.
It just works. It really does. And it has worked for a number of years. And it was funny. It used to be if you were of a certain age and you lived in New York, New Jersey area, you were either a Jets fan or a Giants.
Yeah, that's me.
I don't know where those lines are drawn now for, the 25-year-old kid.
No, I'll tell you. I'm a Jets fan. The line is drawn. To the losers, go to the left. That's where I reside because I chose the Jets when I was 6. And to the right, go the Giants, and they're the winners. Very, very definable line there, James. Very easy to see.
Yeah, it used to
I'm
be,
a loser.
It used to be geographic because the Jets were on the other side of the river. Now it's not. Now they're both on the same side of the river and in the same stadium, which is generic and whatever, but it is what it is. Speaking of the stadium and the San Diego Chargers, since you're out there, Phillip Rivers he's one of these guys that we compare to Eli and Big Ben because they were all in the same draft. But statistically, they're kind of similar, man. They all feel like if circumstances were different and there weren't so many quarterbacks that were going to go in the Hall of Fame in their era, they'd all be Hall of Famers. But I think about Phillip, and I wonder what the San Diego populace, if they appreciate what they have in him, because he's so amazing, yet he hasn't won.
Well, you just listed those 3 guys from the same draft class. And I'm just going to throw this nugget out here. Our quarterback in Detroit just passed for 25,000 yards or whatever, faster than anybody in NFL history. So we almost have to throw all the numbers out the window because they're all going to have gaudy numbers.
Yeah, it's true.
Steve Young, Boomer Esiason, and Phil Simms all had around 30,000 yards passing. All these guys are approaching 50,000, rapidly approaching 50,000. So you forget about the numbers. And it really does boil down to wins. And it's kind of like when you're playing golf. You finish a hole and somebody goes, "What'd you get?" I got a 5. I got a 4. They don't ask you, where'd you hit your first shot? Where'd your second shot go? Where'd your third shot go? They just want to know how many Super Bowl wins you got. And with Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger, they have 2. Phillip Rivers, 0.
The way he
so right now, and people here in San Diego love him. They love to get on sports radio, on the talk shows, and talk about how he's a Hall of Famer. And I just kind of go, I bite my lip. I go, what? No, not yet. Not unless he throws for 100,000 yards and he plays for 20 years. Can he surpass the guys who won titles?
You know what's interesting? We're talking to James Lofton, Hall of Famer here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio, part of the Westwood 1 team as well. As you're describing Phillip Rivers, now I'm going to mention a player from a different sport, and we touched on this with the Lakers. I'm going to give you an analogy. Granted, the player I'm about to mention has not been with the same team since the start of his career. Carmelo Anthony. He's got all these points, and he's got nothing in the hardware fight. He's got no bling, nothing.
Yep. And I won't. I'm not diminishing the Basketball Hall of Fame, But when they do the Basketball Hall of Fame, you know, they do the WNBA, they do the NBA, they
international
do college basketball.
Yep. No, you're right.
So
you're right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yep.
With the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which supposedly could include the CFL, could include the UFL, could include the WFL, the XFL, but it's really the NFL.
Yeah.
It really is the NFL. So, and you don't add college, you know, so that's different. Carmelo Anthony, yeah, I think people might have warmed up to him more this past Olympics when he kind of took that leadership mantle.
Nah, it means nothing to me. That's
I know.
It means nothing.
I said, but see, that's outside of New York. See, you're looking at him as a New Yorker.
That's fair.
And
That's
so
fair.
I'm looking at it
That's
on
fair.
the outside, and I was kind of like, well, I know he won when he was at Syracuse, but what happened after that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You guys are mean. See, I let you guys do the mean stuff. I want to be nice.
I'm just doing the honest stuff.
Hey,
if it comes out as mean, I'm sorry. It's honest.
You do the Sunday night games with Coug, so you got to be in front of these guys. You can't afford to be mean like we can afford to be mean. Even though sometimes they mistake me with my brother, who actually has to get in front of them. They get on him about me. But you haven't.
I saw when you were getting ready for your comeback. I saw you in the weight room.
Oh yeah, see, I was
true?
lifted.
Half the guys you could still take.
Oh, I could have easily.
What, with the
guys,
Dolphins come back or the Steelers?
I was just strong as hell, man.
I saw Shane Leckler the other day.
Oh yeah.
And so you're always looking for a connection to talk to somebody on the field. Well, you know, when he was in Oakland, I was in Oakland, so we had that connection. But I found this connection. Shane Leckler's parents are older than I am.
Oh, wow.
And now that's a sad connection
Wow.
when you're an announcer. You're going, his parents are a little bit older because his dad played a couple years earlier than I did in college football. But everybody else, you know, there are a few players that I still coached. I coached Vincent Jackson. There was a couple of guys that I helped before they got into the NFL. Mike Evans, who plays in Tampa also. So I have a couple of those. But it used to be, as a former player, there were guys that you played with.
Yep.
Then as you know, there were some guys that you coached and some guys that you played. And now I'm going with a guy's parents.
Yeah.
Hey, your parents are older than I am. What do you think of that?
Hey, we're all getting older. James, before we let you go, James Lofton with us here, NFL Hall of Famer. Wish we had a little more time, but I am curious real quickly, if I position this to you, specific to tonight's game, not who's going to win, but as a coach, as a receiver, as a former, however you want to answer this, Mariota or Bortles, who are you taking for the next 5 years?
Ooh, well, it's interesting, and it's kind of sad. I think that Bortles is going to have a new coach next year.
Yep.
Because this Jacksonville Jaguars team was the hot team. They were the chic pick. They're going to improve. They're going to make a playoff run. Well, unless they started tonight and really get hot over the next 4 or 5 weeks, it kind of looks bleak there.
Yep.
Mariota, I like him also. It's interesting. I still think in the last couple of years, the guys who are 27 or 26 and under, Andrew Luck has been really the standout guy. When you look at a quarterback, you say he can do all the things if you give him a better offensive line. I'm not sure if you say that about Mariota and Bortles because, you know, their offensive lines have been pretty good. They don't play in – they're all playing in that same division. So
who are you picking? Bottom line.
Yeah, I know.
Who are you picking there, James?
I'm just waffling there,
Yeah,
aren't
who
I?
are you picking, buddy?
Because you don't know
who
yet.
are you picking?
You're taking Mariota.
I'm picking
I'm going
Mariota.
with the Pac-12 since I played in the Pac-8.